Okay, good evening once more, and good day if you're joining in from outside Nigeria. So far it has been wonderful, and you guys have been doing amazing. It's okay to feel lost. It's okay to feel like throwing the phone or throwing the ID you're using. Like, what is going on? I can't really get it. It's okay. Even the best of the programmers still Google things out. The most important thing is, what do you feel? What are you actually searching for in your search engine? You have your Stack Overflow. You have a lot of platforms that also help people to find a way out. Thank God, Python is a very big, is a great programming language. Its community is very high. The same problem we are having right now, someone else has even had it maybe like 10 years ago, and yeah, in 2022, someone has gotten it since 2012, and the person solved it well. So never feel overwhelmed. Don't feel like you're giving up. Maybe coding is not for me. When we all started, we feel like it was not for us, because when they started bombarding us with questions like I've sent to you, the recent one, I think I've only had one submission, and even the submission itself is not really what I am looking out for. So I'll try to contact him and also tell him these are the few things you should do. So it's okay. It's very fine. You're actually on point. Some persons are saying I'm stuck. Let me see some comments. Okay. Mr. Taiwo said you are correct. So I'm still struggling. Okay. Extend submission for tomorrow, please. I am stuck and confused. Okay, it's okay. It's very okay for you to feel stuck and confused. And so far, I don't know, we have looked at different concepts in Python. So far, we have looked at variables. We have also done our first program. We have looked at different data types. We look at casting, how we can cast different data types, maybe from a string kind of data type to an integer, or try to change certain things. And we have also looked at our functions, and we said that our function is a particular kind of code that is mainly to perform a particular function. It's a specific area of code that is only to perform a specific function, and it only works when you call it out. You don't print it out. You call it out by yourself. You summon it like as if you're summoning someone that is an oracle. So that's how you do it, and it has certain syntaxes that you use to do that. And so far, we have looked at uh, our functions, that we can define a function without parameters and still make it work for us. We have looked at different math functions, which we did it practically by using our assignments. And their assignment was just for us to see different math functions inbuilt. We looked at, I think I saw some math.sqrt. I saw math.floor and cell and all those kind of things. Those are inbuilt math functions in which we use to make operations and make calculations in Python. And also in the last class, I'll start sharing my screen so that we can see what we did in the last class. And let me try to get, yes. So in the last class, we looked at how we can create parametric kind of functions. We looked at when we create a particular function, we put parameters in it. And once we put parameters inside these particular functions, we tend to call them out. And once we call them out, when we call a particular function, we put in these parameters, which comes in forms of arguments. So if you define a particular, maybe we'll define two parameters in your function, and we tend to put back two parameters, two arguments when we are calling out that particular function. And when we do that, it works well for us. But if you do not, if you put two, instead of you added two parameters and you now put one, it will ask you for the other one. If you put three, it will tell you that this is, according to your errors, it will tell you this is what is going on. And in the last class, we looked at different functions too. We looked at how we can find the square of a number, and we defined this particular number and said, okay, once you are printing out, once you are calling out the function, we now said, okay, it's 8, and we found out that the answer was 64. We looked at the area of a rectangle. We defined certain, this was the variables which we defined, which was area is equals to length times breadth. We gave the values for length and breadth, and once we did that, we found out that we got the answer. It worked for us. Then, yes, the last class too, we also looked at how we can store students' data by using different functions upon other functions. Like we created a student data and we added other functions. That's these functions inside a particular function. And when we called it out, it worked perfectly for us. Now, when we ended the last class, I made mention of local variables and global variables. So, and tonight's session, we'll be looking at what is the concept of local variables and global variables. And also, we'll be looking at also something known as scope, is what we call scope in Python. And once we go to scope, we'll also go there straight into return, how we can use the return in your functions. And once we get to return, the next thing will be the concept of doc strings, the concept of doc strings. And once we do that, I think we'll be set enough to be able to get this particular assignment I've given to you. So nevertheless, if you feel lost, you can, even this is your first time of trying to say today, I'm ready for Python. Okay, today I'm ready for Python. Let me start from fresh. So do not worry. I think we have certain how many persons so far that have joined us. Okay, 15 so far. We are supposed to be more than this. It's supposed to be like at least 30 of us. So I remember that the attendance for this class is very, very, very important, because as I'm trying to give you a certification, I would not issue out Avion will not give you any certification if you do not take part in at least 70% of the class, and also you have done your assignment. And so we go straight, and I will try to be as time conscious as possible. But before I start, tomorrow is Valentine, and I don't know how we want to navigate it through. Should we have a class tomorrow, or should we not have a class tomorrow? Because it's actually the Lovers' Day, and we want to say, hey, let's find a way and take a rest tomorrow. Is it possible? So if you are in for tomorrow's class, you can put in the chat session. You can say, if you want the class tomorrow, I'm going to do a poll this thing now. Okay, oh, those in favor say, those the ones that want a class tomorrow, say yeah. Those ones that do not want a class tomorrow, please say nay. I'm looking at the chat room right now. I'm looking at the chat box right now. I'm looking at the chat box right now, so that processor will know how we will navigate it through tomorrow. So I know what to do right now in this class, so I can cover up if we are going to have a class tomorrow. I want class. So okay, someone is saying yes, yes. Someone is saying nay. So we have one nay. For the love of Python, please, for the love of Python, what do you say? Is it yeah? Okay. All right, so we have yeah. Please, I need I know what to do in this particular class, either to cover everything in function or try to break it down so that we can move to the next class. Let me know. Okay, okay, yeah. Please, I still need more persons. Okay, we love Python. Okay, yes. Okay, all right. So I think tomorrow we'll definitely have a class. And okay, I'm still waiting for the conversation, but nevertheless, let's use and rest and see how to navigate assignments. Okay. Okay, Mr. Udwak, you want to say something? You can raise up your hand first. Okay, Udwak, your hand is up. Mr. Udwak, your hand is up. Okay. So I think we have the years that have a lot of them. So except if class holds, we do a brief recap of what happens. Okay, since there are a lot of years, okay. Mr. Udwak, I can hear you now. I think you're breaking. Sorry guys, I'll start the class very soon. I just want to be sure where we are going, because you are the ones that will tell me how you want your class to be. Because I cannot categorically tell you something now, and all of a sudden you people are not you are not in support of what you are doing. So I need to take the vote now. Okay, so we have majority of people that actually want the class tomorrow. So tomorrow the class will definitely hold. Attendance is important. Try if you are not going to make it, try to tell me why you are not going to make it, and also send in the request some maybe hours before the class starts. Okay, so let's go straight to the point and let's our class begin. All right. Okay. So I think we'll just go straight to what a scope is. And so that once we start the scope, we'll try to integrate the concept of local and global variables. So let me connect first. Please, guys, remember what I told you in the previous class. It tends to hang a little bit. So once we do, we tend to connect our collab again. We connect it. Once we connect it, we go to runtime and we run all. If we do not run all, there will be, so let it connect first. And once we do that, it's connecting, because you're still going to reference some of these functions you have built. So let's just, okay, why is it saying busy? God of mercy. Okay, initializing. All right. Okay, it's connected now, so I can decide to run time, and I run all and run all again. So we are running everything right from the very beginning. I think this will be the last time we'll be running. Okay, this was a value error. Okay, this was something we did before, so we just continue, run it, run all of them. Guys, just be patient. It's how the collab is built. If it was just PyCharm, we could have just gone through and nothing will happen. So let's just run. It's very important that we run. Okay, I think I'm having network issues right here. I think that's why it's okay. Why it's having issues. Sorry. Okay, I think we are good to go on to this part. So we continue. Okay, we are almost there. So please, guys, be patient with me. I think we had some errors there and it could not. Okay. Okay, so just I think it's taking much time to load. I think I could have done this before the class. I'm sorry about that. I always want to see it practical. Make you guys to try to see this practically, especially for those of you that are using Colab to code. Sometimes it could be really, really frustrating at some point. Saving failed since this is still loading. So we are almost there. I think it's still, this one is still loading and we are up. Okay. Okay. All right. We're almost running the last one. Okay. And we are good to go. All right. So it's always very, very important for you to make sure that, first of all, your collab is connected and all your code is being run again. So if you don't do that, it's going to cause errors, especially when you're referencing a particular kind of function here. So let's go and let's add a new cell. Let's add a new cell and let's start our coding proper. All right. So the first thing I'm going to go tonight is the particular part of concept. So, sorry, a particular concept known as scope. And what do I mean by scope? It means that this is a region in which a variable exists, in which the variables do exist. For example, and it always, a scope actually happens. Scope actually happens. Let me try to create a comment. So, scope, that the particular concept of scope is a region where the variables do what? exists. And scope is determined by what? Indentation in Python. For example, let me try to create a particular function, like for sure, we know that it's using def, and it's going to be, let me use scope underscore function. And once I use scope underscore function, I'm just trying to show you what scope is practically. So once we do this and we click on enter, so anything that comes in this particular indentation, after the indentation, it's known as the scope, and it's where the variables are being, where the variables exist. This is where you see the variables. For example, let me say scope underscore var, like the scope variable. I'm just trying to define it for you. So let's put it as 300, and if we put it as 300, this is a particular scope. So, and once we do that, let's say we want to print it out. And says I want to print scope underscore var. And once we do that, definitely we can actually do what? Print that out. And how do we print that out? By doing what? By calling out the function, which is scope underscore function. We can also decide to add more variables to this. We can just say we want to put like a power of this particular scope. Can just name it as maybe S2 equals to this particular scope. Sorry, this thing is showing. Sorry, I want it to, yes, scope underscore variable, and we want to multiply it by 2. So we can just say times 2. And once we do this, we decide to also print. This is also the particular scope too. So we can just say S2. And if we do this, if we go back and just backspace, remember when I told you that when you want to call out a function, it must not be in the same indentation block of that particular function. So if we decide to call the scope function here as scp underscore function, that's this thing we want to definitely put a parenthesis, open and close. And if we decide to run this here, if we decide to run it now, you decide to run it, you can see that the answer comes out. The first one we did was 300. We said we should print the scope underscore var. And if we also did the variables here, which was also is part of the scope. S2 equals to this scope underscore variable, a var times 2, which gave us 600, exactly as that. Now I want to bring out the particular concept of the local and the global variable. So I'm going to create another code, another cell, and say, okay, instead of calling out a scope underscore function, a scope underscore fn, the function of it, let me try and access a variable that was inside this particular function, which was scope underscore fn. Let me just define to print a particular variable which was defined. For example, this particular one, print scope underscore var. So I click Control C to copy that. I don't really like typing much. And I go straight and I say Control V, and I decide to run this. Let's see what will be the answer. Now you can see right what is going on right now. This is already defined. It's a variable on its own. I'm very sure it is a variable because we have done scope underscore var equals to 300. This is a variable according to what we have been taught about variables, how to create a variable names, and the values. This is definitely a variable. But while we are calling upon it, it is not, it's telling you name error. It is not defined. It means that when you try to call a particular variable inside a function, it will give you an error because it is not defined. It is not defined because it is inside a function, and a function can only bring out its variable once you call out the function, not this particular one inside the function on is the variable inside the function. So this particular scope underscore var is known as a local variable. It's known as a local variable, which it means you cannot call it out except it is something else, which I'm going to show you very soon. So now this is an error. It is called a name error. Why is it a name error? Because scope underscore VAR. Okay, please, I think someone is saying something in the room. Let me try and, what is the problem? It's been showing me this. Someone in the meeting should let you in soon. I think I bypassed this at some point. Sorry, I had bypassed everybody to be able to attend this meeting, even without everyone should attend this meeting. Please, I don't know who is it. Maybe she's attending the wrong meeting. Please, guys, you can reach out to her. Nena is complaining in the group. Please, you can also reach out to her. Once I start coding in Python like this, I might tend to get myself out of the line. So this one would actually help her out. I don't know what the problem is. So let me go back to my code. So you can see there is an error here. So now let's try another concept of trying to get things right. So that this particular one, I will not say anything. I want you to just see what happens to this particular one. So remember when we're working on the area of a rectangle. So let's try to reference that particular concept again and let's see. So instead of just creating a function immediately, let's try and say, okay, length equals to let's say it's 50. Let's say it's 50, and let's say the breadth. Please, someone can answer Nena, please, for me. Thank you very much. Equals to, let's say, definitely, let's say 30. And once we do that, we can decide to say, okay, let's print this out. Let's print this one out, Control C. We definitely need to run this for it to show in the next one. So once we do this, let's print this out. Let's print this out. Let's print bread out. I had copied it before. I don't know why I did not just. So let's print bread out. It's definitely is going to be 30. I think my network is rather slow tonight. I don't know why it's taking so much time to load. So now we have defined two variables now. Length is equals to 50 and breadth is equals to 30. So now let's define a particular function, and let's say we want to find a parameter. So let's say dev. Remember, you always say that your particular kind of function name should also be very descriptable for someone to understand what you're doing. So in this particular function, we want to find a parameter. So parameter could be parameter, that should be the spelling for parameter. Okay, I think I've messed it up. Okay, I think this parameter, I know that here. Okay, so definitely we'll put a colon, very short for us to reach to get to a function. So let's say the first one we want to do, maybe we want to do area. Area is going to equals to definitely is length times the breadth in which we have defined here. So length times breadth. And what we want to do, remember this particular area equals to length times breadth is the scope, because this is where the variables are actually stored right now. This particular is an kind of inside kind of a local kind of variable area here, but we are referencing something outside. So let's see how it goes. And let's print, oh, sorry, I'm supposed to get to a new line, enter, and let's print, what do you call it? Let's print area. So if we print area here and decide to say, let's run this. Yes. Now, once we do this and we decide to say, let's create a new cell and decide to call out the function name, which is parameter, and we run this. If we run this, let's see what will happen. So we run this. So you can see the answer comes out 1,500. So if 1,500 has come out, it means that we have made a reference to what? To these particular variables, which are global variables, which is length, which is 50, and breadth is equals to 30. So you can see that we brought it in inside this variable here, inside this particular function here, which is in the scope. And once we call out the function parameter here, it actually worked for us. Okay, so now the next thing we want to do right now, the concept of trying to change the global variables. How can we change this particular global variables? Maybe we don't want it to be 50 again. Maybe we don't want length to be 50 again, or we don't want breadth to be 30 again. We want to change it inside a particular kind of function. So let's try and create another function. Let's name is dev. Let's say we want to change global, so we just make sure we define it very well. So change underscore global. So let's just make it descriptive enough. Definitely, we'll put a parenthesis and we'll put a colon and get enter. Definitely, remember when I said that it's actually a what? A scope. Anything after the indentation is a scope. So now let's change let's change this particular length. Let's use breadth. Let's change this particular breadth to let's change it to from 30 to something else. Let's see if it's going to work for us. So definitely we are in an indentation block, which is where the scope lies, and we said Control V, which is the breadth, equals to let's use it. Let's say 68. And once you do that, and we want to print, we're going to print breadth, which is, let's see, and we run it. Once you run it, we create another cell. Once you create another cell, we call this particular function out. We call this function out Control C, and we paste it here, Control V. And once we do that, let's run it and see what it gives us. So you can see, guys, it has changed. It has changed the global, the breadth of this, instead of from 30 to 68. But if we decide to say, okay, instead of just, since we only call out a particular function, which was change underscore global, let's just print the normal breadth on its own, which was before. Let's see if there's going to be a change. At this particular point, I will stop and I'll ask, what do you think is going to be? So print breadth. So breadth. So at this point, I will stop and ask, what do you think this result will be? Would it be 68 or will it be 30? Guys, I'm looking at the comment section right now. Will it be 68 or will it be please don't run it yet. Don't run it yet. Don't run it in your this thing. Will it be okay? Someone is saying 30. Someone is saying 30. Someone is saying 30. I don't know if it's good or bad. At some point, when we run it, we'll know. I need everyone to put it up. Put it up. Very. I'm seeing 30, 30, 30, 68. I love what I'm seeing. This is wonderful. 68. I'm seeing 30. Let's see who will get it right. 30. On time, Kindle says 30. Sunday Boyeji says 30. Mfonobo Mford says 68. I love this thing. Ahmedon said 30. Francis Okoye said 30. All right, please, let's see. Please take part in the class. Who are those that are not saying things? Please just try. Mark says 68. Please do not run. Do not run your IDE right now. Do not run it. Just type in something. I'm not seeing comments from those that are. I'm not seeing something from other persons. Please type something. Put something in the chat box, say something, try, even though you fail it, try. We are all learning. This is a safe space. Everybody could learn. Nobody is wrong or right. We are all learning. Even I myself, there are some points I'll run my code and it will not work. I'm very sure there will be a time like that when we get more advanced, it will not work. We have to go and search Google by ourselves. So try. This is a safe space. I need to see everybody putting their answers here. Yes, Papa Brian says 30. Hope you have not run it already. I'm waiting. Please let it be more practical. Okay. Okay. Charity has left the chat. I don't know why. Someone is saying 30. Emmanuel is saying 30. Okay. At this point, I would like to go back to our code and let's see what it will be. All right. Okay. So let's print it out and let's see. And yes, the answer is actually 30. It means that once you define a global kind of variable, even though you have changed it here on your particular, your breadth is equals to 68 inside the scope of this particular, you have defined it another way, it will definitely print the 68 here when you call out the function, but it has not changed. It has not changed in the global variable. So if you want to change it, if you want to change your global variables in which you have defined. When you define your what do you call it, your new function, and put it on, you need to use a particular global variable keyword, a global variable keyword, which is known as global itself. So I'm going to make it practically again, and I'm going to define it again. So let me just go back to, let me just copy this too, and also copy this and create a new cell. And once I do this, Control V, then now watch what I want to do. I click on enter, and once I do this, I put in a particular variable, a particular keyword now known as global. So once I do global, definitely something is changing. It shows something, and I put in a breadth, and I put in breadth. And once I do that, and I change six, let me just put it as something else. Let me just put it as let's put it as let's say 89. Once you use 89 and we print, we decide to run this now. Decide to run this now. We decide to run this now. Okay, guys, I'm running now. That means, why is it not showing something? Because I've not called out the function. So I decide to call it out. Decide to call this particular function out right now, which is not supposed to be that way. So I call it out, copy, and I put it here, and I definitely put my open and close. If I call it out right now, definitely is going to show us 89. And guys, now something wonderful will definitely go right now. So let's see it again. Let's print let's print a breadth again now. Let's see what it will give us. Let's see what it will give us now. So guys, do I need to ask any question right now? Do I need to say what the answer will be? What do you think the value for breadth will be now? There's no, should I continue 89? Taiwo is saying 89. Someone is saying 89 already. Francis is saying error. I like that. He's already sure that it's going to be an error. I love this already. So guys, okay, so let's see. Sunday Aboyeji is typing. I can see what he's doing. I know what he's going to say, and it's going to be 89. Okay, let's see. Okay, 89. Fonobong said 89. Mark said 89. This is what we are using, the global keyword, and let's see how it's going to be. Someone is still typing. At this particular point, I would like to go back to the okay, Charity Charles is typing. Let's wait for the last type answer, and I've not seen the answer coming up. All right, so let me go back to the screen and let's see what we will have. Remember, we are taking things step by step. Okay, let's see what the answer will be. So if you print it out, and you can see the answer is 89. So super amazing. We can now change global variables and change it permanently so that it will actually work in anytime we call it out, it has changed permanently. Now, the next concept, since tomorrow we are still having our classes, and I'm just trying to take things step by step, but I'll try as much as possible. We should be done with function by now. Like, let's just try function part 1, because it's not function. If you want to say you want to finish function as if I know, you can't do that in just 3 classes. Okay, so what we're going to do, and it's a 1-hour class, and now it's already 9:06. So the next thing we're going to look at right now is a function. A function can return a value. A function can return a value. You can see all these things that we are saying, print this, print this, print this. We can decide to say we need to use a return statement. So it might be like a kind of keyword and say something went wrong. Oh God. By trying to get you back in the meeting. Okay. Hey, like something went wrong. Hey, God of mercy. Is it the network? Network itself. Okay, guys, can you hear me now? I think network.
We have stopped hearing you actually.
Hello, guys. Can you hear me now? Network is terrible at my end. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yes,
we
can
can
Loud
you
and
hear me
clear.
now? At some point,
Yes,
I'm
we
very
can
sure you
hear
did not
you
hear me.
now.
Okay,
Loud and
thank
clear.
thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay. Good. So I go straight and let's continue. Okay, so the next thing we're going to look at, how can we return a value for a particular kind of function? So let's try to make it practically enough. And let's define a cube. Let's say we want to find a cube of a particular kind of number. So let's say DEF and CUBE, and definitely we're going to pass a particular parameter. Remember when we were using parameters, so let's use a parameter, let's say n, and definitely we're going to use a colon and enter. Definitely, I told you that anything after the indentation is known as the scope, and which contains the value. So this particular one, just want to name it as n underscore cube. Cube equals to what? Let's just put it as this particular value which we're going to use going to be n, which the parameter we're going to get is going to be what? A power, which is the power of 3. So once we get that, we are going to return a value for this particular. Instead of printing it out, we can actually return, okay? So once we return this, we return the what? What are we returning? The variable n underscore cube. Guys, someone is putting something in the chat room, in the chat box. I don't know. Let me go straight and check it out. Sorry to make this. So, Charity, can you hear me now? Can you see my screen? Everybody,
I can hear you, but I can't see your screen.
please, can everyone see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Yes, we can see us.
Yes, everybody can see. I don't know. Charity, maybe I don't know. Maybe we should just log out and come back again. I think everybody can see my screen. I think it's your network. Charity, someone is saying it's your network. It could be your network too. All right. So at this particular point, others can actually hear me. Charity, can you see our screen now? Can you see my screen now? Log out and log in again. Thank you. Just log out. Log out. Yes. Log out and log in again. You are definitely going to see it work for you. I'm very sure of that. We'll wait for you for like 30 seconds. We'll just wait for you 30 seconds or maybe 10 seconds. We are waiting for you right now so that you not be lost. Okay, so we're actually waiting. So go out and come back in. Thank you very much. So guys, let me just see how we can. So we can see that we are actually using the return to put in the value of this particular n underscore cube, and we decide to call out this. We decide to call out the function. We decide to call out the function and say, let me run this. Definitely, let me run this. Let me run this and see what I want to. I want to make a practical usage of a global kind of variable. So let's see. Let me use. I'll define num. Num. Okay. You guys, what I want to do right now, it's very, very important that you see what I'm doing. So what I want to do is to call the function and get the return value. What I'm going to do now. So I'm going to create a particular variable name, num equals to. Please let me see if Charity has entered this, because this particular case is always very different. Some persons tend to mix it up. He's not still back. Okay, we don't have any choice. Let's just find a way to continue. So we can see what I want to do right now. So norm equals to 5. And once I do that and see what I want to do right now, and I can see, let's say cube, oh, let me put this right to not you'll be able to see cube underscore of underscore norm equals to, guys, cube underscore of underscore norm equals to cube norm. Guys, see what I'm doing right now. So and once I do this, if I print this, if I print cube, if I print cube underscore of underscore norm here, which is already showing here, and I run this, you can see the answer is 125. Now, this could be a concept that you might not really get. So let me try to go back again. So what I did was that I defined a function. The function name is cube, and it has a parameter, which is n. We can see right now. And this particular function is what is the function? What is the value or the variable that, or the method it's supposed to perform in this scope is n underscore cube equals to n raised to the power of what? 3, which is the n cube. What we want to return is n underscore cube. Now, what I did here was I defined a global variable here, which is norm is equals to 5. And I also created a new variable here, which is cube underscore of underscore norm equals to referencing the function name here, which is cube, and I inserted the parameter, which is num. The parameter, which is also some I would normally call it as argument too. So this particular num is taking in the place of n here, which is a parameter in which you have defined already from the cube function in which you have done. And once we did that, we printed out what? Okay, can we just use cube 5? Okay, wait, I'm coming back to your. This is all I can see. I can see not your screen. Oh God, the person talking Kim James. Okay, so print cube underscore of underscore norm. And once you do that, we are going to print this particular answer. It means that we can, instead of just, remember when we say we can only call out function just like cube, we can have just done cube underscore parentheses, open and close, and put norm. It will have still worked for us very well. But we want to see a way we can actually print a particular kind of operation to work. So once we put in the cube underscore of underscore norm into a variable and we printed it out, it referenced the function and it worked perfectly for us. So let me go to your chat and see what you said. Okay. All right. Loading image. Okay, who is this person? He's saying you have joined the meeting that is being recorded. Privacy policy. Okay, I think it's from your setting. I think it's from your setting. Who is the person that sent Charity? I think it's from your setting. This is all I can see, not your screen. I just listened to and raised to power of Q. I'm sorry about this. I think it's from your own. Some people in the chat are outside the organization. It's possible they have message-related policies to apply to chat. Okay, I'm sorry about this. I'm really sorry about this. Okay, Mr. Sunday said, can we just use cube 5? Yes, you can. Yes, you can, and it will definitely work for. I'm just trying to see a way we can actually play around with local variables and creating a variable name in which we can reference a function in which you have defined already. So it can actually work. Don't need to all this way, but it will, in the long run, we'll definitely see why we are using this. Okay. All right. So we can still do something. We can still do something else. So let's see. Guys, you can actually try something out by yourself. We can actually do something, maybe like a short classwork. What I want you to do right now, let's make it practical. You can also create what I want you to do is, let me tell you what to do. Create a global variable, name, give it a variable name. You can say return underscore value, reference the function name, and also return the value. Let's see, print return value. Let's see. I want you to just do exactly what I just did somehow, but I want you to do it practically on your own. So do the same thing I've just done. Reference in a norm, put it another maybe another value, and try to create in another variable name, return underscore value, and use it. Reference the name, reference the function name, and print the variable in which you have just defined. I want to see it now. Okay, you can actually share it, you can actually put it in the chat room. Everybody can put it, you can screenshot it, put it in the chat room. I'd like to see what you are doing right now. You can put it in the chat room, or you can share it in the, you can put it in the chat room on the WhatsApp group, or you can also, please Charity, I'm really sorry, I don't really know how I can actually help you at this particular point. Don't worry, if you have any issues, but actually find a way. Okay. I cannot really type in right now. So what I want you to do is to what? This is King. All I can see, not your screen. This is King Python language. Emmanuel, okay. Please just try and create a variable name. Define a global variable. Put in a value. Mine, I use 5. And also create a particular kind of variable and reference the function. And once you reference that particular function, print it out and let's see. I just want you to do exactly what I did now, and I want you to see. I want to know that you're actually coding with me. You're actually coding along. So the next one we're going to go straight is going to be doc strings. What do you understand by doc strings? Documentation is a function kind of documentation in which we are going to use. So try and do what I just did now. I'm still waiting for you guys. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting, guys. Just put some things in the chat room. Anyway, you're going to try. Okay. Just try and do exactly what I just did now. Try to create a global variable, and put it in a variable name. And maybe you can, if you have not been coding a lot, you have to start with you have to define a function, to define a particular function. Your could be square, you could actually use square. So just use that. We have 5, you can use 3 minutes to do that while I try to load the next chapter, the next thing we want to do, which is going to be the docstring function documentation. Guys, please try and do something. Hope you are trying something out. Okay, Charity has seen the screen right now. Thank you very much. I'm really happy that you can do that. That's good. Please try and do this particular project, this particular classwork right now. Create a function, define a global variable, define another variable to another variable name, referencing the function in which you have built, and print it out. Let's see what you have. You can send a picture to the chat, the WhatsApp chat group, or you can send it here. I am actually looking at you right now. You have just 2 minutes left. Someone is saying, I can't see. Don't worry, don't worry, Charity Charles, you are exempted at this particular stage. You could not see what we're doing right now. So I'm still waiting. Guys, we have 1 minute left, or we can actually just stop here for tonight. Okay, I'm seeing something in the chat room already. Okay, Sunday Aboyeji has done something. Okay, very good, very good. Yes, return multi. Okay, in the chat room, I'm seeing some results already. Number one equals to very good, fantastic. This is super, super amazing. Emedion ozone is coming. I'm seeing some parts in the group chat. Now let me go to the group chat right now. Yes, I can see Mr. Gabrielson right now. Good, good, good. This is amazing. Return. Oh, this is super lovely. This is wonderful, and it worked for him very well. I love the fact that you guys are practical about this. And let me go straight to the chat and see what we are doing. Magic, magic, magic. Okay. Okay, I can see what Sunday has done. Fantastic. I can see what Udrak is doing right now. Oh, wonderful. I could have loved to see what it ran for you, but Udrak, did it run correctly for you as you wanted? Good, good. Mr. Udrak, I can see, I'm looking at your work right now. Did it work? Okay, no, it's Udrak. Okay, Medion, sorry. Medion, did it work for you at this particular time the way you wanted? Yes, definitely. Medion, can you hear me? Yes, it did. Thank you very much. Okay, I can see, yes, Francis is wonderful. Return this, you define this. Oh, this is super amazing. Thank you very much for trying this out. Thank you very much, guys. This is nice. All right, so with that, I would like to say, I think we might be ending for tonight, but let me show you one particular concept. I always told you that maybe you cannot try to, you may not be able to print a particular function out, but let me show you something. Okay. Okay. So what is going to happen? I'm going to share my screen soon. So let me share my screen and show you something. So let me go back and where's my, oh God, okay. Okay, let me show you something right now. Let me try to show you something. So if I decide to print this, you can see what I want to do now. Print, let's say cube, which was what we defined already, and we decide to put, let's say we used to put 3, or we decide to put 4. Let's see what it will give us. So we print this out. You can see, guys, it worked for us perfectly by doing what? Referencing it immediately, directly from the very beginning. Say you can see print come inside here, cube, and reference it all at once. It's actually a short trick for us to use. Okay, so in the next class, which is going to be tomorrow, we are going to look at doc strings and look at the function documentation, and we'll also move into the next what's the next thing we're supposed to do. So we're going to go straight and we'll introduce our project. We'll be looking to our project, and I think, okay, we'll not start with the project first. We're going to go to all the maybe the solutions to all our exercises so far, from the first one, the second one, and I will not touch on this particular one I've sent to you as at yesterday. I will not touch that. We'll try to navigate through the answer and see why we are doing that. So in our next class, which is going to be on Wednesday, we'll start the building of our first Python project, and it's going to be the Turtle project. Turtle is a framework in Python, it's a module, is a library in Python that is used to create shapes. We use it to create shapes and also lovely designs. So we'll be doing that. And please, at this stage, if you have never been so serious, if you have never been coding along, please try as much as possible to code along. This is where we are going to use practical applications of our functions. I will be doing most of it. We'll be bringing in other concepts too, which I've not taught you, but at least I'll try to explain it in a way you understand. At this particular stage, we'll need the PyCharm. We'll basically need the PyCharm because Colab does not really have the graphical user interface this thing, what they call it, extension we desire. So we need PyCharm at this stage. And those of us using phones, please try as much as possible to make sure it is ready. It could actually work for you, but I've not really tried it out for your PyDroid. So please take note of that. It's very, very important. So in the next class, we'll look at docstring, the function documentation. we looked at assignments from 1 to 2. At this particular point, you'll be getting emails. Spider, I'm not really sure about Spider for now, but I will check it out and I'll reply you very soon. I love Spider. Actually, that was one of the first IDE I used. I love the name, the concept of Spider. Actually, it's actually a very nice IDE. I will check it out. It should have Spider should be very. It's an upcoming IDE. It's trying to beat the market so far. It's possible in Spider. Let me check. I'm not confirmed that. I will check it out. Need to be very serious about it. So if you have any questions right now, you can ask the class. We thank you very much for joining in, and I really appreciate you for always creating out time to attend classes, even upon your tight schedule. I remember when you sign in, you signed the what they call it, the form, the oath form. I remember when I stated it that it will even be at some point you do not want to attend meetings, but you have to create time for yourself. The attendance is definitely going to show you if at some point you say, why am I not gotten certification? Why have I not recommended you for a particular role, a tech role? Because normally I do get calls from organization. I think last week, some weeks before we started the class, I think an organization reached out to me called Code House, and they actually said, do I have a Python developer I can actually recommend that could actually help out in my organization? I actually had to recommend someone, and right now, as I speak to you, the person is in Lagos and is actually working. So sometimes I get things like that, and I actually have to make sure that you are good enough for me to say, yes, you are representing Advion, and he said this person was recommended by Advion. And so I need people that actually are putting in the work and they are putting in all their effort. Coding is practical. Don't add things and say, I'm going to keep my assignment. Every time you keep your assignment, keep it again and again, it will be overwhelming for you. I'm telling you, I'm telling you from experience, try as much as possible to always do your assignment immediately it's given to you. Navigate through Google and the rest. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you. You are welcome, Mr. Manuel. You're amazing too. All right, so if you have any questions right now regarding this class, you can ask. Okay, you have not seen Dr. Dave. Okay. Dr. Dave is busy with patients in the hospital. He says Sundays are always very difficult for him. Okay. So let's see. If you have any question, you can actually ask. You can raise up your hand. Okay, I was replying. Okay, only Gabriel can recommend now. I was replying to this. Okay. Okay. I not see it. Okay. Only Gabriel can be recommended now. Okay. Okay. At certain levels, Gabriel has not reached. So everybody is learning. It's true. Only Gabriel. Gabriel, I'll start putting you on the coding exercises. Let's see. I'll be throwing you questions at some point. It's okay.
I beg you. I'm just learning also. I'm just still learning, please.
Okay, have you made the likes of maybe on here? Have you made the likes of Mark and the rest? No, and Sonda Voyager, they're here, they're keeping quiet and they're just watching what you're doing. Okay, so let's try as much as possible. In the next 5 years, I won't be ready. Mr. Francis, don't say this. Do not say this. Don't now put words upon your life, please. Okay. All right. If you don't have any questions, okay, at this point, I would like to say goodbye, good night from everyone. Okay. All right. So if you don't have any questions at this point, we can say bye-bye for now. Thank you very much for joining, and God bless you.